Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. Today we are continuing the journey to beat the wall of flesh and enter hard mode. I hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. I start out by gathering up resources to try to beat the wall of flesh. My plan is to place the 200 or so platforms and then try to fight the wall and go from there. After placing down all the platforms that I had, I thought it would be a good idea to fight some other bosses so that I could get better loot to be more prepared against the wall. We start out with fighting the slime god. We spawn the boss and it starts out pretty well. I then get stunlocked by the boss and end up losing half of my health. Crimson part of the slime sets into 2, and before I knew I was dead. I then spend time looking through the crafting list to see if there are any weapons that I can make, since apparently I was underpowered with not being able to beat this normally easy boss. I craft a gun called the Eviscerator and spawn the boss again.
Oh, this is a bad idea.
Quite short-lived, as the slimes hit me for a lot of damage right out the gate, and then I was dead. Once again, I spawned the slime god. My plan is to stay on the topmost platform so they can't just demolish me from above. This strategy seems to be working, as I am now able to get the boss down to half, and the two slimes split and are able to move a lot faster now. After getting berated by the boss,
so many things.
I thought I was dead. But then I was able to kill the red slime.
Got one.
And luckily enough, the purple slime's demise slowly followed. I got it! I just had to kill the lingering. Unfortunately, none of the jobs were able to help me at all. Sadly, they were just for mage builds. I head down to the underworld to try to kill the wall once again. I summon the boss and keep my distance, and it seems to be working. I then realize that due to the nature of the boss, the Eviscerator is not going to cut it. So I bring out the lightning rod in the hopes that it will be able to kill it. Something happens to where part of the lasers are desynced and deal a lot of damage to me. And then I run out of platforms and inevitably die. I head back down to try to beat the wall of flesh. I summon the boss. And it looks to be going pretty well. And then the laser beams start to do a lot of damage to me. They each do 40 to 45 damage a hit, which screws me over a little bit. By the time I reach the end of the platform, the boss is down to 5k HP. But I was still unable to kill it, and I die. I go back to my base and realize that maybe I could use bee nades and they would be helpful, but unfortunately I was unaware of this at the time, but I didn't have the hive pack equipped, which increases the strength of friendly bees. Due to this, my damage output was not sufficient enough, so I died yet again. I spawn the wall of flesh one more time and try out the high five, which is a yo-yo that spawns bees when it hits an enemy, and it seems to be doing pretty well. But then the wall starts to move really fast and the lasers are happening one at a time. Inevitably, I had died once again. After this, I get really pissed and call it a night. I start off with working to get the bee enchantment to help me with defeating some more bosses. I then work on some fishing progression so that I can get a honey fin for the bee enchantment. I head to the hive where I fought the first queen bee in the hopes that the honey that was there would be enough. But unfortunately it was not enough honey to fish in, so I then head back to my base and try fishing in regular locations to double check that it was the spot and not my fishing rod. I head to the elevator and find a patch of water, and I confirm that I just needed to find another fishing spot with honey. Next thing I did was go around to various locations and fish so that I could get the various crates. Regular fishing can give me wooden, iron, and golden crates. Fishing in the jungle gets me jungle crates, and the list goes on. I was excited when I found a gravitational potion in one of the golden crates. This means that I can now go to the Sky Islands, which opens up a whole new world of things that I can make now. I then travel around all of the Sky Islands looting up. I find a Sky Island with a hive, and I come to the realization that I can just fish there to get the honey fin, and that is what I do. I head back to the base so I can make the queen bee summon because I still need a bee gun if I want to be able to make the bee enchantment. Queen bee was really easy and I was able to get the bee gun. I head back to the base and finally make the bee enchantment. I then do some more exploring around the Sky Islands. I find a regular Sky Island with a house and notice that there is aerolite ore, and I collect it. I do some more exploring, and then I go to the Crimson biome so I can fish for a Crimson crate, and then I head back to my base. When I get back to my base, I start opening the Crimson crates and I get a bunch of great stuff, but realize my storage system is almost full, so I make components to make it better. After adding sections to my storage, I realize that I can now make the Night's Edge. After I make the Night's Edge, I do some more exploring of the Sky Islands. I then find an oasis and an ocean biome, and I get their biome respective crates from fishing. I head back to the base, and then I realize that slime has started to rain from the sky, meaning that King Slime is going to spawn soon. Eventually, King Slime spawns, and I'm able to defeat him without breaking a sweat. I'm focused on defeating all the bosses before I take on the Wall of Flesh. I want to guarantee that the next time I spawn him, I will beat him. The next boss up is Crapulon, and in order to spawn him, I need to collect some glowing mushrooms from the mushroom biome. I go back to my base and make the boss summon, and I spawn Crapulon. I was a little confused at first because he had spawned in the higher level and took a few seconds to be in position where I could attack him, but after that I was able to defeat him without much trouble. I look at the boss log to see the next boss I need to defeat, and it was the Dark Mage from the Old One's army. I work on finding a place where I can actually start it. The Old One's army fight works a little differently than other boss fights. It is a wave progression type fight. In pre-hard mode, there are 5 waves of increasing difficulty. On the 5th wave is actually when the Dark Mage spawns. Other than it taking a lot of time, the fight was quite easy. The next boss up was the Deerclops. In order to get the summon, I need to go to the underground snow biome and defeat some flinks, which drop flinks fur. I get a little distracted and defeat the acid rain in the left ocean biome. After that, I explore more Skylands, and then I actually head to the snow biome to find flink's fur. I head back to my base so that I can make the Deerclop summon, and I spawn him in the snow biome. He was not very difficult either. I just had to jump around him and keep hitting him with my sword. Before I knew it, the Deerclops was defeated. Once I defeat the Deerclops, I head back to my base to get ready for the next boss, the Deviant. In order to summon the boss, I needed to start a blood moon to get chum buckets. In order to get chum buckets, you need to fish up enemies during the blood moon. After not too long, I had acquired the chum buckets, and I was ready to fight the Deviant. I spawned the boss and realized it was a huge step up from the other bosses. The Deviant has a lot of attacks that act more like a bullet hell than a Terraria boss fight. It sends out huge heart attacks which get rid of about half of my health. He also has an axe attack, which is when he lunges at you 5 times with a huge axe, which hits you with a lot of debuffs. With him hitting me all 5 times with the axe, my death was soon to follow. I realized that maybe I shouldn't be fighting the boss while the blood moon is still happening, so I wait for the blood moon to end. I spawned the boss and it appears to be going well. I learned how to dodge most of the axe attacks, so I felt pretty good about myself. Once he reached his second phase, mimics start to fall from the sky, dropping hearts that look like you should be able to pick them up to heal, but they deal damage to you instead. I was starting to panic a little bit with me only having 4 hearts, but the Deviant was down to 1000 HP. But after not too long, I was able to beat the Deviant and get Deviating Energy, which is used to make a lot of things from the Fargo.
Let's go! Oh my goodness.